Okay, let's do your money line here. Your money line is a vertical line, starts at the end of the headline, goes up towards that Mercury finger. Yours isn't one line, it's back and forth, back and forth. That section in between the head and the heart line, that's age 20, 30, and half of 40. Then it crosses the heart line at 45. And then it's 45 to 50, 50, 60, 70. So the explanations in between the Mercury and the Sun finger in red. Excellent money lines. I've got one line, one income in your 20s. Then I get two lines in your 30s. That's two incomes. And then one line in your 40s. And then three lines in your 50s. Oh, and then you got four lines. It gets even better. Four lines in your 60s and 70s. Is your husband the one that's kind of the inventor? Well, I don't know, but it looks like the business really picks up there. That's an excellent money line. Excellent. It looks a little messy, but that's what it looks like in your hand. I'm just going to tell you about your marriages and your children. See where the flirt lines are, the end of the heart line? It's got little tassels on the end there. Yours are fair, not overly so. And then that section in between the tassels and the ring around the Mercury finger, the marriage and relationship lines will go horizontal, and the children lines will go vertical. They come down from the ring around the Mercury finger. I see in green, I see two children. See the little green asterisk there? And then that section in between the flirt lines and the ring around the Mercury finger. Starting at the flirt lines, divide that into thirds. So starting at the flirt lines there, that's first third is age 20, 30, next third's 40, 50, last third 60, 70, 80. Okay, I see two relationships between the marriages. Oh, you already had your two marriages, haven't you? Yeah, that first one's really short. You said it was 2 years. It is a short one. And then I get the two relationship lines. And then I get the second marriage line. How old did you say you were when you married the second time? Oh, at 30. Yeah, that'd be right. And then the second one is about 30. Very good marriage. Nice, and it's very long. Long marriage line, good dark color. Excellent marriage, and it's nice and straight, too. So, that shows up right on your hand there. Then that's the end. That's all the marriages you get. Now, you should have received about 4 charts with your hand reading. And if you'll find the chart that says Hand Analysis Chart, it's got the big hand on it. We're going to basically work off that, and then we'll bring the other charts in as we need them. First thing you need to know is the left hand is the past, the right hand is the present and the future. And it does not matter what handed you are. The left is always the past, the right is the present. Most of the work we do is on the present hand. Now, the length of your fingers are your talents. Everyone has talents. No one gets cheated. So, long fingers mean one thing, short fingers mean another thing. Nothing's good or bad. Now, go down to the lower right-hand corner of your chart, and it says palm shapes. This is probably your most important talent, the shape of your palm. There's square, there's round, there's long, there's a mixture. You got quite a roundish palm, which is artistic, and then it's kind of long in the palm part, which means a philosophical thinker. Look in the upper right-hand corner of your chart, types of fingertips. This is your personality. This is just the fingertips. All 5 of your fingers are rounded. intuitive, quick, compassionate. Should be in the health field. Let's see, did you tell me what you do? Oh, all you put was a parent. Okay. Well, that's the health field. Okay, back down to the thumb now. Gonna do your talents. That thumb's a little bit long. You will do well in life. Good manual dexterity. You hold tools and instruments well with your hands. That index finger, the Jupiter finger, that's a little bit short. Self-motivated worker. You work very well on your own. Let me explain about the names on these. Palmistry's been around for 2,000 or 3,000 years, and they went through. They named all the fingers and named different areas of the palm. Usually the names were the names of Greek gods or goddesses or astrological names. So that index finger is the Jupiter finger, the middle one's the Saturn finger, the ring finger is the Sun finger, and the little finger is the Mercury finger. Then that section in between the head and the heart line, that's called the Mars area. And one other important place in the palm is right at the base of the thumb. That's called the fat pad there. That's called the Mount of Venus. Venus, goddess of love, because that tells you about your sexual libido. But it also tells you whether you're drinking enough water, too. And that area in your hand is very dehydrated. You shouldn't have a single wrinkle in that area. You should have a nice little fat pad. So fat you can hardly pick up the skin. So yours is, you're getting quite a few wrinkles in there. Very dehydrated. Drink more water. You've got to drink 32 ounces a day. The body can live without food for a while, but it can't live without water. You've got to keep well hydrated. Okay, let's see. We've done the Jupiter finger. So let's do the Saturn finger. The Saturn finger is a short finger, too. Very concerned with social issues. Very compassionate. There's compassion again. That means caring about your fellow man. That Sun finger, ring finger, it's nice and long. It's great. Creative, imaginative, inventive, abstract thinker. That's a very good. And you're an art. Well, do you do artwork? And you've got an artistic hand. Let me see if you. Oh, you're a. Yeah, you are an artist, aren't you? And this is good for this is a good finger for an artist. And then, oh my gosh, you got a long little finger. I don't very often see long little fingers, especially on women. That's the writer's finger. And that's fairly good. That's only got to come up to that ring around the base of that Sun finger, the base of that top joint. And yours is, yours is quite a bit longer than that. Works well with words, scholarly. I'm telling you, that's the writer's finger. You'd do well to take a writing class and do some writing. Okay, your heart line starts in between your Saturn and your Jupiter fingers, comes down, and it should make a nice curve in there and then go to the outside of your hand. Yours is kind of straight. Yours is kind of tough emotionally. It looks like you've been hurt at some time. Oh, you had a car accident, didn't you? Or you had some kind of an accident there. Anyway, you've been hurt, because that's, you're kind of tough emotionally, because that's kind of a straight line in there. The other thing I read two things on that heart line, your heart health and your emotions. And your heart health is a little stressy too. Look up there in that, where it says lines of energy. Run your finger down where it says islands, ISLANDS. That's a break in the energy. Anytime you see those little islands, in either underneath the line or on the line, the little ovals or little triangle-y things, circles, and you got a few of those on that heart line, little heart health stress. But that's coming off your spine. Your spine's all out of place. Okay, sixth sense underneath that Jupiter finger Should have a nice little fat pad in there. Yours is very, very good, by the way. That's your intuition and your sixth sense. Here's how that works. If you got a problem you've got to solve, just clear your mind completely. Let it go blank for about 30 minutes. Then when you come back to solve the problem, you'll probably have it already solved because your intuition or your sixth sense is kicked in and it helps you solve the problem. So listen to those little promptings inside your head. Alright, we're down to the headline now. Headline is going to tell you, it's the head and the spine line. It's going to tell you two things. It's going to tell you how smart you are about how straight across your hand that line goes, but it's going to tell you you've got problems in that spine. So, I don't give you this information because I'm just a palm reader. I've got a master's degree in health education. I was finishing up my master's degree when I was in my 40s. I'm an old school teacher. And I started reading these palmistry books when I was getting my master's degree, and my gosh, it all fit together so well because the palmistry stuff tells you your health and your body. And then I picked up this old book that was written, it's out of print now, by a doctor, medical doctor, Eugene Scheiman, and he told how you could see the spine in that headline. Most of your palmistry books doesn't say head and spine line, but it shows your spine, and of course everything runs off your spine because that's where your spinal cord is. And it was true. I started using it, and it was very accurate. So you can see that spine line in that head and spine line. Find that chart that says understanding your cervical spine. Look down at the bottom of that chart, and there's a picture of a vertebrae. Now those vertebrae are the little bony process all stacked up on the back of your spine, and they surround your spinal cord. And off of each side of each one of those vertebrae, nerves come out of the spinal cord, and it goes to different areas of the body. Your head, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your throat, your lungs, your heart, your stomach, your arms, your legs. And then those nerves go out into the body, the intermesh of the muscles, and then they end in your hands and your feet. You'll see that in a minute here when you get to this other chart. That other chart is just a minute. I gotta turn my page here. It's called Chart of Effects of Spinal Misalignments. See the picture of the spine on the left-hand side there? Where I circled out in red, that's where you're out of place. Then the next column is the name of the vertebrae, the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, tailbone. The next column is the areas that those nerves go to that come out of each side of each one of those vertebrae. The head, the eyes, the cheeks, the vocal cords, the heart, the lungs, etc. And then that last column is the effects that you get if that vertebrae is turned out of place. Depression, high blood pressure, hay fever, heart problems, lung problems, breathing problems, etc., etc. Go back to that column that says the name of the vertebrae. Underneath that Jupiter finger, starting in between your thumb and your Jupiter finger, going along the headline, under the Jupiter finger, it's going to show your cervical vertebrae, 1 through 7. Underneath the Saturn finger, it's going to show your thoracic vertebrae, 1 through 12. And then underneath the Sun finger, it'll show your lumbar vertebrae, 1 through 5. And under that little Mercury finger, it'll show your tailbone, your sacrum and your coccyx. And if you see a red circle in there, that's turned out of place. So you're all out of place in that whole area in your cervical. See, that's all colored in red there. You're out right at the top. You're jammed in that atlas and axis. That's the two vertebrae that sit right at the top of your spine. And it's jammed in that. Here's how you check that to see if that's out of place. Stand up straight. Sit up straight in a chair or stand up. And see if you can turn your chin over your left shoulder, and then see if you can turn your chin over your right shoulder. And I'll bet you it pulls in one or the other. It's only turned one way. And if you can't get your chin right straight across your shoulder, that vertebrae is out of that C1 or 1C, 2C. Those two vertebrae are out of place, the two that sit up underneath the skull. Then your thoracic, which shows under that Saturn finger, you're out part of the way down there. It goes all the way down to about number 9 thoracic where you're out. That's the one that's underneath that Saturn finger. If you're out the top part of that spine, it usually throws you out in that lower spine to compensate. So then there's a little space where you're not out too bad. But then you're out in that lumbar area, especially down in, well, let's see, a little bit in 1L, 2L, and 3L. The 3L is your female organs. Haven't you had... Oh, I thought you had a miscarriage. No, I guess not. You had the abortion. But you're out in that lower spine, because look at that line that's right underneath where it says depression line. See, it says health line that runs vertical, runs up towards that Mercury finger, starts at the fate line. That health line's your internal organs, your stomach, your spleen, your liver, your colon. And you want to see one clean line. But you're getting 2 or 3 little lines and one of them's broke, so it's a little stressed. That means in that lower part of that spine, you're out of place. Now that depression line, where it tips down on the end, it's not terribly bad. Oh, it is in your left hand. See where I've got that little black ass streak? Go down there to the bottom of the page. Depression line. Are you taking an antidepressant? The line in the left hand tips way down, but the right hand, which is the present hand, tips just a little bit. So that indicates to me that you're taking an antidepressant, because it's showing in your present hand not so bad. But it's bad in that left hand. That tips way down. That means you're way out of place in that 1C, 2C. See where it says depression over there? Well, you're out in that 6C too. But most of all in that top. It interrupts the blood flow going up into your head, the blood flow and the oxygen. And that's why it makes a depression line. It's having a heck of a time getting up into the skull. You're going to have to find a chiropractor. Oh, you're in California, aren't you? Palo Alto, I guess that's California. You're going to have to find a chiropractor, ask at your health food stores or call around, that has an extra 8 months of training in doing craniosacral work. Don't just find a regular old chiropractor. They've got to have this craniosacral work training, which is extra 8 months of schooling in order to do this. And what they do is those nerves that come off the top, that's 1C, 2C, they end in the roof of your mouth, and they go in through your mouth, and they massage the nerves and relax the nerves, and then they take their thumbs and they push that vertebrae back in place, right at the base of your head. And you don't want it to go too far. Or some of them have a little machine. It's called, let me see if I can say it. It's called, just a minute, an orthogonal machine. Orthogonal machine, and they lay on a table. I had this done on my granddaughter. They lay on a table and they swing that little machine over, and it goes zzzz down in that neck area, and it relaxes all those nerves. And then they can just take their thumbs and push that vertebrae back in place. If you can't get your chin over your shoulder, I'm sure you're out in that top part. And then you need to get that fixed and get a chiropractor to straighten up your spine. Oh, let me tell you a couple little stories here. I'd set up my booth. This is a way you can keep your spine straight. I'd set up my little booth in my high school we were doing a fundraiser, and I had a bunch of gals walk in, and two of them walked over the table and had their palms read. When I read their palms, they had perfect spines. I couldn't believe it. It's not very often I see a perfect spine. And they were laughing and giggling, and most of their girlfriends come over. And they came over and they had their hands read. There were 7 of them all together. Every single one of those 7 girls, they were women in their 1920s. Every single one of those women had perfect spines. All 7 of them. I looked up and I said, "Are you girls trying to trick me or something?" I guess I couldn't believe it. And they were laughing and giggling, and one little gal walked over and she says, "Oh, Kat, I better tell you." She says, "We're the walking club. We walk 7 miles every day, rain or shine." She says, "If it's bad weather, we walk in the malls or in the gyms." And she says, "When we walk at a good fast clip." Well, that makes sense, because those 2 big old leg muscles are hooked to the 2 back muscles. And when they walk at a good fast pace, those muscles go up and down each side of that spine, and it strengthens those muscles that hold that spine straight. So walking is probably one of the very best things you can do for your spine. I don't know that you got to go out and walk 7 miles a day, but oh, by the way, I don't know if I told you, your line is very intelligent. It goes right across your hand. And it's easy to get that spine knocked out of place. Oh, down at the bottom of your page, Ingrid says, "Did you have an accident around 24 or 30? In between 24 and 40, that you have a broken lifeline." Yeah, your lifeline, if that breaks, that means you're not breathing real good. So you've done something. You've had some kind of an accident. Easy to have accidents or get jammed up that spine. Jumping on trampolines is hard on you. Having a car accident, having a bike accident, playing contact sports, doing gymnastics, that's all really hard on the spine. Okay, now, off the top of that lifeline, go into your upper left-hand corner of your chart. Here's your achievement lines. They come off the top of that lifeline. They'll point to either your Jupiter finger, or they'll go straight up. If they're really long, I've circled them. Extra good. Or if they got a lot of color in them, or if they're real thick, I've circled them. They're extra good. Okay, starting in between the thumb and the Jupiter finger at age 10. Here is your achievement lines. At age 12, 13, 14, 19, 20, 28. Then right there, that's about where that lifeline, actually it kind of breaks around 24. The broken lifeline right there, and it overlaps, leaves a little gap in there. And then going on with your achievement lines, 34, 36, circled at 40, 42, 47, circled at 50. Woo, that's right now, right, your age now. 53, 56, circled at 57. 60, 62, 65, 69, double circled at 71. That was a really good one. 73 and double circled at 75. Very good achievement lines. Now, who your guardian angel shows in your left hand, and if you've ever had a visit from a guardian angel, shows in your right hand. So in your left hand, starting in between your thumb and your index finger, that's age 10. And I just count that down. The line comes up from beneath the lifeline. This is the left hand only. Beneath the lifeline, it'll touch on the lifeline. Then it makes a little tiny line that goes across the lifeline at the age you were when you lost a loved one, when a loved one's died. Like your grandparents, your siblings, your parents, your aunties, uncles, cousins, old boyfriends, old girlfriends. So remember, this is the age that you were when they died. You have to do a little math here and figure that out. So here's the ages you were when a loved one died. At age 14. Oh, and then they've become your guardian angel. Age 14, 15, 28, 30, 42, and 50. Now, in your right hand only, this is the age you were when you had a visit from a guardian angel. So if you've been really sick, or if you've had an accident, or if you're in distress, or if you've had someone that's died, very often their spirit leaves their body and it goes and checks on all their loved ones before it goes off into the light. So it makes a little visit from a guardian angel. So you'll get a double number. Oh, you only got a couple in there sometimes. Okay, here's the ages when you got an angel visit. At 18, 24, and then 32 is a really big one. I don't know. I wonder if that was your accident at 32. 36, 39, and 42. See, 42 is one when you lost someone, too. Okay, that's your angel visits. Okay, our last line now is the fate line. Go down to the lower right-hand corner of your chart. It's in green. That's an example of your career and your lifestyle. Anytime that line breaks, it's a change in one or the other, sometimes both. And sometimes you get just a little fork off the side of that, which is just kind of a minor change. 2 starts to that fate line. If it starts the outside of your hand, you're very sociable. You have to have your friends and family around you all the time. But if it goes down the middle, you're private, and you have to have a little private time. Yours is private. Okay, here's the changes in that fate line. At age 22, 26 is circled. It's extra good. 28, 34 is circled. And then that crosses over that headline at 40, and it crosses over the heart line at 50. So then you got a nice strong line right there in the middle in your 40s. Then you hit 50, but at 53 to 58, I get 2 lines. That's 2 jobs simultaneously. And then at age 60, that line splits. And it splits into 4 lines. Remember over in your money line, you've got all those incomes in there? It splits into 4 lines. You're going to be kind of busy there in your 60s probably. Let me see what your 60s say. Oh, you got some good 60s in your achievement lines. So it splits into 4 lines until age 78. And then it crosses over that ring around the base of the Saturn finger. That's age 80. But 1 line goes to the left of the Saturn finger. All that means is that the spine is jammed, but we already knew that. And then a couple of lines drop off, and 1 line goes up into the finger until age 89. That's how long you're going to live, is 89. Oh, I missed something here. You've got a little lucky sign. Look over there on the left-hand side of your Mercury finger, the little finger. In green, so you see where it says lucky sign? You got 2 of them. They're little triangle-y looking things. At age 24 to 27. And then one at 50 to 53. Right now, you're right in a positive time in your life. When you got luck. Oh, go play the lottery.